Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seat as quickly as you can. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Nudgee College Assembly for Week 6 in Term 1. Very much getting down to the business end of our first term together, a topic I know Mr. Cannellan will be addressing when he speaks to you. Welcome to all of our parents who are here to see their sons presented today for a variety of reasons, including our rowing program, our music program. There'll also be a music performance. We'll mark International Women's Day, and we welcome a guest speaker to address us today. I also want to welcome our Fogarty House men watching on in Teenie Hall. St Joseph's College, Nudgee, a Turrbal word meaning place of black ducks, acknowledges the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways on which we gather this morning. We acknowledge all Aboriginal communities around this continent and our neighbouring islands, and all members of our own community of First Nations descent. Week 6 of this term is also week 3 in the season of Lent, so we're halfway on our journey to Easter. And to lead us in prayer this morning on that theme is Mr. Lilly.
Good morning. As we continue on our Lenten journey of prayer, fasting and almsgiving, I thought I'd focus a little bit today on the story where Jesus took his own fasting and prayer, or engaged in his own fasting and prayer, when he went on his reflective journey for 40 days in the wilderness. This gospel story from a couple of weeks ago reminds us that Jesus would probably have been struggling in his own commitment to fasting. And he was tempted to simply take the easy path and quit on his sacrifices, those being obviously food, company, and comfort. The gospel reading tells us that Satan offered Jesus an easy path, but Jesus rejected that temptation. For Jesus, this period of fasting and temptation is significant and acts as a beacon for all of us. So today, we think about our time during Lent, and we can see that Jesus was victorious over evil through living simply and going through the luxuries of life, as well as fasting and prayer. So for us, Nudgee Ben, these are an expression of defeating the devil, of defeating evil and living the Lenten season authentically. And so the Lenten season invites us to parallel the 40 days that Jesus spent praying and fasting in the wilderness before his own public life began. This ministry culminated in his sacrifice on the cross, which brought about the opportunity for us all to witness his love and guide us on the path to heaven. So sometimes we take the more difficult path, but that's the right path. And when we go down the easiest path, sometimes that's temptation acting on us. So for this story of Jesus' fasting, temptation, contemplative prayer, we're provided with a significant link to the Lenten season, challenging us to walk away from temptation, continue to pray, and care for those in need, seeking forgiveness and becoming closer to God, becoming signs of faith. So let us pray together in voice and in action. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord God, so many times we turn away from you, and always you welcome us back. Your mercy and love gives us strength. Thank you for the invitation to share, fast and pray so that you can form a new heart within each of us. Your powerful compassion for our weakness leads us to ask for mercy and await with great hope for the Easter joy you share with us. May the Lord bless us, protect us from all evil, and bring us to everlasting life. Amen. Live Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Sorry about my voice today, gents. So just a quick reminder before I depart, just that this week is our PC fundraiser for Project Compassion, a pack for PC. We're looking to raise $25 in each PC, and that's around about a gold coin each, but I'm sure we can do a little bit better with that. For $25, a farmer in Malawi will receive a pack of seeds, so that this will provide hope for him or her to be able to plant and live sustainably. So if we get $25 from each PC, we're well on the way to helping farmers and the people of Malawi be much more self-sufficient. So I look forward to hearing that all PCs make a real Lenten-inspired effort during this week. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, special guests, and boys. International Women's Day is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women across the world. Today, we will hear from Fiona Gaskey about her journey as a woman of impact. Fiona has a long list of achievements, including Deputy Mayor of Ballinshire, Director of South West Health and Hospital Board, Chair of Regional Development Australia, and Chair of the Somerville House School Council. Fiona is a Fellow of the Australian Rural Leadership Foundation and a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors. She currently holds the position of Director for the Palladium Group and manages contracts providing humanitarian aid on behalf of the Government of Australia. As we celebrate International Women's Day, it is my pleasure to now invite Fiona Gaskey to address the Assembly.
Wow, the sea of blue and white and khaki is impressive, and it embodies all that I love about Nudgee, a cohort of brothers bonded forever. But when you leave these hallowed grounds, and seniors it sooner than you realise, you will step into a world where the tangible and visible presence of the blue and white stripes is somewhat diluted. Now, I've heard that Nudgee spirit is on the rise, and one only has to watch the Sportsmen or the rock band or the Borders doing rock around the clock to feel its impact. But what happens after Nudgee? And what does the spirit look like when you cross over into the workplace with a trade or tertiary study and ultimately position yourselves for a career? What will you be seeking to influence with that spirit? And more importantly, how will you influence? I feel very humbled to stand here today and mark International Women's Day for 2024 and to share a little bit about my story. It's one of striving to make an impact, but having to work hard to find the space to influence amidst the noise of institutionalised tradition. Without meaning to, I have found myself in a career where it is important to represent a diverse view, but am often challenged by circumstances. So how does a woman tread a path in this environment? And why is it important that I share it with you? So council elections are around the corner, and I wonder if you know who your candidates are and what they are saying they will do for you if they're elected. I first ran for council in 2012 and became the Deputy Mayor in my second term. In a rural community like Boulogne St George, representatives who advocate fiercely are important. Rural and remote regions are often forgotten by governments made up of Metro MPs, and while my community had enough faith to vote me in, actually, it was around the council table that was most challenging. Most of my colleagues were semi-retired farmers. So, who did this girl from the city think she was? And what does she know about our issues? Well, as it so happens, the girl from the city knew how to articulate an issue, and she had the passion and empathy to appreciate and learn, and she was persistent enough and annoying enough to follow through. We have a lot of cotton farmers in Boulogne, and for the irrigators, water usage is regulated by plans and rules. One of those, the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, in its original form, contained very extreme targets for managing water and was destroying opportunity for our community to thrive. In my role as Deputy Mayor and with Council and community on side, I fought for significant legislative changes that would support our farmers, our business community and the health of our rivers. It took many trips to Canberra, meetings with all sides of politics, including some crazy senators, a number of interviews, lots of collaboration with industry, and many late nights reading about water policy, something that was completely new to me. And after many months, we succeeded. And when I put this deck together for today, I was looking at that picture. On one side, there are a number of irrigators from St George and from the Boulogne region, and on the other side is the Federal Minister for Agriculture at the time, David Littleproud, and one of the senators. And I felt like the Lone Ranger in that group, but I realised it was very important that I was there because the irrigators and the politicians had an agenda, and rightly or wrongly. But someone had to advocate for the community, and someone had to be neutral, and someone had to give the argument legitimacy and credibility, and that was my role. In 2015, I began taking on roles as a board director, and this included a state health and hospital board because of my background as a speech pathologist. I've learned the value of men and women working together in the boardroom and have been privileged to work with some wonderful colleagues. So why is it important that women are represented in the boardroom? Global consulting firm McKinsey suggests women bring unique viewpoints, experiences and insights. This enriches the discussions and decision-making. Critically though, this diversity of perspective can lead to a more thorough analysis and innovative solutions driving improved performance. So effectively, it means your company or your organisation is going to perform well on many levels, especially financially, which is very important for shareholders. And it can do this ethically and not end up on the front page of the Australian Financial Review for all the wrong reasons. Being able to represent my community on council and also on several boards allowed me to advocate in other areas I'm passionate about, and that's rural health services and education. While in these roles, I was involved in the planning of 2 facilities that provide tertiary education opportunities. The first was a rural health hub in Charleville, and the second was a country university centre in St George. The reason these were significant is because it allowed students to study at tertiary level online, but in a supported environment in their community. And for health services, we know that keeping people in community is going to provide a more sustainable workforce. So these 2 facilities, in and of their own right, were very important for the sustainability of our workforce out there. Following our time in St George, we headed back to the southeast, where I'm currently Director for the Asia Pacific region at a company called Palladium. In my role at Palladium, I manage a portfolio of contracts that we deliver in partnership with the Australian government. My portfolio is about humanitarian aid and disaster response. In the last 12 months, our team has responded to the earthquake in Turkey, 2 cyclones in Vanuatu, and an earthquake in Tonga. We work closely with the ADF, Joint Logistics Command, and Flight Services Unit to deploy whatever aid is requested by partner governments, mainly the Pacific nations. Gender-based violence is always heightened in disaster, which is why we work closely with partners and stakeholders to deploy emergency relief supplies that will protect vulnerable and marginalised communities. This is extremely rewarding but very challenging work. We are constantly problem-solving in crisis response while also managing diplomatic relationships with governments and other partners on the ground. There is no time for ego in a disaster response scenario. Team Australia is made up of a number of teams, including my team, which is the humanitarian logistics team. But that picture there that you can see from Turkey is the search and response team. So often when Team Australia deploy, you'll see the red kangaroo on side of pallets being loaded into C-17s or with teams on the ground like this team here. And that is the sign that we've been deployed. We deploy on behalf of the Australian government and the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Finally, I have mentioned before that I'm an advocate for the performing arts. And while I was in St George, I started a ballet school, which grew over time to about 100 students. And I had a super fun class, including these young fellows here. And when I was growing up, I was inspired by a wonderful teacher who used to drive hours out to this small mining town where I lived, and that inspired me. And I thought, oh, well, I might do that in St George as well. Now, one of your nudgy old boys is an AFL Brownlow medalist, Jason Ackermanis, and he's a friend of mine. And he told me once that the AFL teams down south do dance classes for agility and flexibility and strength. So all was up for an adventure. I challenged our A-grade rugby team in St George to a ballet class, a story which took the fancy of the ABC. Now for me, this was actually about challenging stereotypes and is something the Matildas have taken to the next level. But we are not all Matildas, and so our challenge is to make the difference in our own circles. And I do think that rugby team may have had a beverage or two before that class, but they were pretty good, really. It would be remiss of me not to mention my family and the amazing mentors I've had along the way. I've been able to achieve all that I have as a result of a supportive family who've made many sacrifices so I can travel and work and be involved in a multitude of different projects. One of the last projects I initiated in St George involved Jonathan Thurston and was in response to the drought. And the focus of this project was good mental health and building community resilience. JT and his team spent 3 days in our town talking to businesses, working with schools in the Shire, and for some, those memories will last a lifetime. Finally, it's important to note that in all my roles to date, I've been part of a team. But it's the composition and cohesiveness of the team that creates the most impact. Even within the team, having my voice heard hasn't always been easy. But influence isn't always about being heard either. It's about turning up. It's about being willing to collaborate and share ideas. It's being respectful and inclusive of the opinions of others and being able to see the world or a situation through a different lens. It is how you will support your colleagues to find the space to influence that will ultimately drive your impact. Both influence and impact will be significant when there is equality around the table, when there are opportunities for different perspectives, empathy for diversity, and authenticity in this approach. If nudgy spirit can be present in that space, then you will truly make your mark and take your place in the world. Thank you.
On behalf of the college community, I would like to thank Fiona for sharing her journey of impact with us. Her continued efforts to use her influence in the service of those in need is truly inspirational. Please join me in thanking Fiona in celebration of women of influence in our lives. Gents, Thursday morning in PC, you will have the opportunity to acknowledge these women of influence in your life by writing to them a card. And for our junior boarders, on Thursday, we will decorate the Edmund Rice tree with purple, the colour of International Women's Day. Thank you, gents.
Prevailing wisdom claims that the best way to achieve what we want in life, acing our exams, making that sporting team, completing that course or jagging that job, is to set specific, measurable goals. Recently, in PC and student formation lessons, you were asked to do exactly that, set specific academic goals. I'm sure you're all familiar with the concept of a New Year's resolution, a concept that drives people to set goals that they want to achieve once a new calendar year has started. The problem with New Year's resolutions is that they are often empty goals. And research out of the US suggests that only 8% of people actually achieve these goals, with most people venturing away from their goals within the first 12 days. You see, whether you achieve your goals or not has very little to do with the goals themselves, and nearly everything to do with the habits you adopt. Now for the interesting question. If you completely ignored your goals and focused only on your habits, would you still succeed? For example, if you were a volleyball coach and you ignored your goal to win a championship and you focused only on perfecting what your team does at every training session, would you still get results? The answer is likely yes. In a game of volleyball, the goal is to finish with the best score. And it would be ridiculous to spend the whole game just staring at the scoreboard. You see, on every volleyball court, both the winning and the losing teams had the same goal: to win. The difference comes about due to their habits. To set the goal is the easy part. It sets the direction and provides a level of incentive. But to adopt habits that move you towards that goal in a consistent and reasonable manner is where you'll get the biggest gains. As Mr. Thompson likes to remind us, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. At the risk of asking you to imagine something you've never seen before, I want you to try and imagine that you have a messy room and you set a goal to clean it. If you summon the energy to tidy it up, then you'll have a clean room for now. But if you maintain the same habits that led to a messy room in the first place, soon you'll be looking at a new pile of clutter and hoping for another burst of motivation. You're left chasing the same outcome because you never changed the habits behind it. You treated the symptom without addressing the cause. Achieving a goal only changes your life for the moment. That's the counterintuitive thing about improvement. We think that by focusing on our results, we will change our results. What we really need to change are the habits that cause those results. When you solve problems at the results level, you only solve them temporarily. In order to improve for good, you need to solve problems at the habits level. Of course, goals serve an important purpose. They are good for planning your progress, whilst habits are good for actually making progress. So as we approach the assessment season, it's important to note that having strong habits that align with your goals is what matters. As the time pressures mount and our stress levels increase, it's committing to the process that is what makes the difference. With that in mind, I wish each and every one of you every success in setting up your habits for a smooth assessment season.
Good morning, Principal, College Leadership Team, special guests, parents, friends, and Nudgy men. It's an honour to be here speaking to you boys this morning. A huge honour, really. I'm really proud to be presenting our championship rowing cruise to you this morning. I just want to start off by congratulating our swimmers on their performance last Friday and particularly all the effort that went in to achieving it. We can appreciate those long months of training and discipline where every single session counts. Last winter, the rowing team made the move to our new shed at Wyampa Road in Bald Hills to start training on the Pine River. Since then, we've seen dolphins, jellyfish, roos, countless jumping fish, and even a jumping baby shark. It's been awesome to get our boarders out there to go fishing. We loved having you boys out there. And boys, I reckon that it's actually Nudgy's best asset, and I'd encourage every single one of you Nudgy boys to get out there at some point. This season is shaping up as a historic one for Nudgy. The spirit from your rowing team has been a big step in the right direction, and the results are starting to flow from that. We're going to the head of the river with the youngest first aid in the field, but boys, a fear of absolutely no one, because we've earned the right to back ourselves with our training and with our results. Our rowers have worked incredibly hard, and are in the best shape of their lives. They are disciplined and they are tough. Please, boys, please get around them this week because I know how much your support means to all of them. I also just want to acknowledge our Year 8 and 9 rowers who aren't crossing stage. They've been immense this season, and although they aren't going up today, they are as much a part of this team as the boys who will today. Thank you all very much for your support. I'd now like to invite our captain, Jordan Went, up to speak.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, special guests, parents, staff, and my fellow Nudgee brothers. The week of Head of River has finally arrived, and I couldn't be more excited or more nervous. Throughout the season, the shed has seen many physical and mental changes, all of which have been for the better. But this development did not happen by itself. It was achieved through pure grit, hard work, and true Nudgee ticker. For these last 6 months, we have destroyed every fibre of our being for just one 6-minute race. This includes 10+ sessions a week, many 2K ergo tests, many 20K plus rows, as well as this wonderful 30-minute rowing piece known as the Gutbuster. I can assure you, I am now a different person because of that experience. But we did those hard yards so that we can bring the HUR trophy home to Nudgee. We did that so we could bring the trophy home to you. And to do that, we need your help. We need as many of you out there as possible. We need you in that last 250 to push us over the line. We need you to flood the dam and show that Nudgee isn't playing around this year. Show them that we are here to win and win good. Warralong Dam, Saturday, March 9th. Be there. Thank you. I would now like to invite Mr. Thompson to the stage to congratulate our rowers. Year 10 fifth quad, Xavier Pera. Fabian Cowell. Jackson Turner. Cooper Ramsey. Matthias Witteme. Year 10 fourth quad, Harry Williams. Alex Lamprecht. Tristan Carter. Oliver Walker. Bailey Lamp. Please congratulate these rowers. Year 10 third quad, Oliver Shaw. Walter Wild. Joseph McLean. Lincoln Cameron. Oliver Watson. Year 10 second quad, Ben Sands. Archie Zan. Will Devlin. Lachlan Balderson. And Charlie Cook. Please congratulate these rowers. Year 10 first quad, Jacob Brown. Angus Kovac. Fred Prosser, Oliver McEwen, and Toby Collier. Please congratulate the Year 10 firsts. Open third 8, bow seat Lachlan Collins, 2 seat Taj Taylor, 3 seat Eli Enders, 4 seat Owen Winks, 5 seat Archer Coates, 6 seat Hunter Warby, 7 seat Cal Knief, stroke seat Ben Avery, and Cox Elliot McGregor. Please congratulate our open third 8. Open second 8, bow seat Finn Sawley, 2 seat Dan Cross, 3 seat Josh Fraser, 4 seat Liam Keith, 5 seat Mitch Pitt, 6 seat Liam McBride, 7 seat Max Reed, stroke seat James Alexander, and Cox Arch Rosenthal. Please congratulate our open second 8. I would now like to invite the first 8 coach Sean Carolyn to present the first 8.
Principal, CLT, special guests, parents, friends, and Nudgy men. It's my privilege and pleasure to present to you the first 8 of 2024. Bow seat Dash Withnell. Two seat Will Enders. 3 seat Jordan Went. 4 George Corey. 5 Hugh Jackson. 6 Atticus Nielsen. 7 Will Dawson. Stroke Elfie Piper. And Cox Orlando Reid. Your first 8 of 2024.
Nudgy rowing. Its legacy is undeniable. Its past is indisputable. We've come a long way in our short history, and every year we must do our best to honour those who have gone before us. Our work begins began in the early months of pre-season, with a new home, but an old-fashioned work ethic. The whole shed bought in to the hard yakka. Although the challenges along the way have been tough, it helps bind us together in the toughest sport on water. We have a new roster of rowers, the youngest first eight in the GPS, and a formidable shed bound by determination and heart. And now, we are ready. On Saturday, the lake will be our battleground, the arena where we will showcase our Nudgy spirit. But let's not forget the bond that unites us. It is within the collective voice of 10,000 brothers who will raise their voices in support. My fellow Nudgy brothers, we do not row just for ourselves, but for each other, our team, our shed, and our school. We'll see you on the lake.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, special guests, parents, staff, and men of Nudgy. It is my privilege to announce the Music Awards from 2023 to students who performed last year. I would like to invite Mr. Thompson and Mr. Smith up to the stage to present these awards. Just for a moment, I'd like to add, I love the passion here. This is my first year here. Sport, music, we work together, very respectful to each other. As an Ironman twice, I love the passion here and Nudgy spirit for all that we do. We have 3 music awards today, and our first award is for SHEP Primary. SHEP stands for State Honours Ensemble Program. These Nudgy boys were selected last year from students all over Queensland because of their high level of musicianship on their instrument or voice. These students get to participate in rehearsals and they conclude with a concert at the Queensland Conservatorium of Music. Congratulations to these students on their achievements. Please hold your applause until the end. We have Nicholas Bell, vocal. George Monfries, vocal. Cohen Ford, vocal. Thomas Eagles, vocal. Vander Cross, vocal. Gideon Knight, vocal. And Max Watson, clarinet. Please give these boys a round of applause. The second award being presented today is for Amy B. Amy B stands for Australian Music Examinations Board. These students have chosen to take their learning to the next level by studying multiple pieces that are performed in front of an examiner. Their music is graded during their performance, and a student needs to be of a high level to pass. Congratulations to these students, and please hold your applause till the end. Piano for Leisure Grade 2 Honours is awarded to Harrison Abode. Comprehensive Piano Grade 2 Credit, Eric Fitzgerald. And Singing Grade 2 Credit is awarded to Lachlan Patterson. Please give these boys a round of applause. The third and last award is the RSL Award. This is our rock music syllabus, awarding the contemporary arts, rock and pop music category. Today we have Hugh Thompson awarded music performance, piano, merit. Congratulations, please give him a round of applause. And now I would like to invite Matthew Rostron to the stage. He's one of our Year 12 music students. He is performing Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix.
Good morning, men of Nudgee. Matt, well done. Congratulations. Always a pleasure to watch Matt play. One of the utter delights that I have is making sure that I get around to all the activities that all the boys do. And I suppose the first time I saw Matt and his brother Dan playing last year was at one of the inter-school rock events that we're on, and then also this year at the GPS showcase. So well done. It's always takes a tremendous amount of courage for anyone to get up here whatever they're doing, but to be doing something like that solo is fantastic to see. I'd like to offer a warm welcome, or echo a warm welcome to our guests that we have here this morning at the Assembly. So to all our parents who are here watching their boys go across the stage, our Fogarty men who are over in Tierney, and also our guests who are tuning in online. So thank you very much this morning. Gents, I just ask that there's a little bit of a mumble going on, so can you cease the conversations that you are having? And I ask for a little bit of concentration for the final 5 minutes of our assembly before I hand over to Mr. Kennellan. I just, this morning on assembly, I just want to echo a couple of points that sort of have already been made. And I want to start with a congratulations, first of all, to our swimmers for last Friday night, and also a very big thank you and congratulations to the couple of hundred boys who gave up their Friday afternoon to go out and shout themselves hoarse at their Nudgee brothers as they competed as best they possibly could at the GPS Swimming Championships. We started the day with a great result in our juniors coming in third, and then our seniors coming in second to a very dominant Brisbane Grammar School. Last year it was neck and neck between Grammar and us. This year we only scored 6 less points than what we did last year, but Grammar were just far too strong. One of the main things to impress upon everyone of why we should be so proud of the boys in that tremendous result of coming second is simply by the fact that we had 48 personal bests swum on that evening. So all we can ever ask of anyone who does anything for Nudgee College is that you do your best, that you try your best, and hopefully results will come, whether that's an exam, whether that's on the music, debating, or like last Friday night, swimming. So a big congratulations, and I think those gentlemen deserve a round of applause for their achievements last Friday night. Boys, when Mr. Lilly was up here, he was talking about the season of Lent. And as we approach, we're halfway through Lent now, and one of those big things that we are asked to do during Lent, of course, is almsgiving or generosity. And last Friday at our Shave for a Cure run by the gentlemen who are now over in Tierney for this assembly from Fogarty House, we saw over $58,000 raised by you. So I think that is just an incredible effort, not just by the people who put themselves forward to have their head shaved and really went hard on the fundraising, but for each and every one of you that got behind those boys in your PC who might have putting themselves forward. Maybe it was one of your teachers who put themselves forward, but collectively as a community to raise $58,000 is absolutely incredible. So I thank you very much for that. I want to wish our rowers who we just saw here the best of luck for Saturday. And like Mr. Mailing spoke to, very much in parallel with our swimmers, there's been months and months of toil from our rowers. Rowing in the dark, doing sessions that bring them physically, make them physically ill. So there's huge amounts of sweat, there's tears, and I know it's a cliche, but there's blood as well. And I was there last September at one of the rowing camps down at Maclean. I was able to drop in, and I saw the blisters on the hands of these boys who some of them hadn't rowed for a little while, but that intensity that came through. But they weren't stepping out of the boat, or they weren't putting their hand up and saying, actually, I'll just check out, I'm not going to do this one. They got back in the boat every single day, and they continued to this Saturday. So our thoughts and our best wishes are with every single one of you. So best of luck there, boys. I would also like to thank the incredible support network that goes on behind that. There's a huge brigade of staff who coach our boys, but also our parents who are setting alarms at 3:45 to get in cars and drop boys off at school here, or they're going out to Wampa Road and they're cooking barbecues so that our men are well fed. They're getting up on Saturday morning at 4:30 to get in cars to head out to the dam, and that's been going on week after week. So I thank you all very much for that, and I think they deserve a big round of applause too. Gentlemen, we were blessed to have Mrs. Fiona Gasky and what's a tremendous amount of achievements she has done in her life. In her absence, I thank her for coming along this morning and just sharing a bit of her story and impressing upon the importance of what is coming up this Friday in recognising International Women's Day. One little side note, I wish that back in 1999, Mrs. Gasky had been present to teach the St George rugby team a little bit of finesse through her ballet school, because I was playing on the opposition for the Dalby Wheatman when I was hit very late by someone who showed absolutely no finesse from the St George rugby team and shattered my collarbone. And it was a long 2.5-hour trip home that night in a car with a shattered collarbone. So it's great to see some of those initiatives and things that occur there. Boys, we heard about week 7 and what goes on, and I acknowledge that a lot goes on at Nudgee. People are always doing something, and so many of you take up all those opportunities that you have. But as we get into this time, sometimes you can get a little bit tired. So I ask, as we approach the end of term, and we've still got three weeks to go, that we're finishing strongly, that you remember some of those messages that we've heard consistently across this term during assembly time, about being kind to one another, about showing patience to the peers in your classrooms, about making good decisions. And Miss Chin spoke about the discipline that's required to change habits. And gents, if you're going to be a person who shows kindness and be a person who shows gratitude, you've got to be really intentional about that. Too many times we hear that boys make wrong choices, or they make bad choices. And oftentimes we'll hear, oh, but it's only a joke. And that's popped up a little bit in the last 2 weeks. Someone does something intentionally and then they say it's only a joke. It's pretty easy to observe from the outside when that occurs that the other person isn't laughing. So chances are they didn't get the joke, or they're, first of all, not part of the joke. So please, if you make a bad choice, you need to own that, like any responsible young man will do. And that's what we do here. We work with people, we educate you, we work with you to make you into fine young men. But don't think just because you do something that that's an excuse that's going to work. Make responsible choices and be intentional. I was glad to hear what Miss Chin had to say about your learning. Remember, it's the main game. Period 1 to period 5 is why you are here. We heard saw some wonderful achievements by musicians. We saw and acknowledged our rowers who are going to work incredibly hard for us and hopefully come home with some great success on Saturday. But your task is period 1 to period 5. Fellas, I want to finish with just a story about the start of the year. I challenged you about being a signum fidei, about being a sign of faith. And again, we heard a little bit of that from Mr. Lilly. And so I stand before you and I need to thank a number of boys who 2 weeks ago when coming home from, or nearly 2 weeks ago when coming home after the volleyball at Gregory Terrace, a commanding victory by our volleyballers out there. And our supporters bus came back into school here. And just down near the entry there where the buses come in, they saw a gentleman lying on the ground who'd fallen over, obviously. Now that gentleman was Brother Vince Connors. So Brother Vince was principal of Nudgee College from 1980 to 1987. He's a wonderful supporter of this great school. He lives over at Viridian, but most of the time you're seeing trying to get along to different sporting fixtures that we have, or debates and things like that. And so Brother Vince got his weeks muddled up. So at the age of 91, he was expecting to get picked up to be brought up to school here. Didn't happen. So he thought he'll walk up here. 91 years of age. So Brother Vince came up to the school. The event that he thought was on wasn't actually on. So he walked all the way back there, and as going over the median strip, he tripped over. Now, generally when people at that age fall over, it can be really bad, sometimes catastrophic. But just after he fell over, our supporters bus came back, and we had a huge number of boys who got off that and staff who took care of Brother Vince, found out who Brother Vince was, They called an ambulance. Brother Vince, being very sharp and very stubborn in his ways, thought he didn't need an ambulance, but they insisted upon it. Got him in the ambulance, he was checked out and it was all good. But I really, on behalf of Brother Vince and behalf of all the brothers, those that live at Viridian and also up at our lodgings and school here, I just want to thank those gentlemen for being a true Signum Fidei and looking out for those who need looking out for. Have a great week 7, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Morning, everyone. I'd also like to acknowledge Ms. Gasky and our wonderful parents for joining us this morning. Gents, it's been well documented this morning about the pressure time now where we're at in the term. So plenty of work going into your academics and also lots around our standards and habits, so I won't go over that. Just want to touch on 2 things quickly. First one's rubbish. Okay, I've noticed in the last week or so a habit of boys just walking away and leaving mess, whether it's on the Learning Centre tables around Ross Oval or behind the Learning Centre. Right, you are very aware of our expectation, and it's quite embarrassing that I would need to address you on that. I don't know if anyone knows, but our cleaner Benjamin, who often comes in after and covers after the lunch shift, I would have spent 45 minutes with him the other day cleaning the Learning Centre. As I said, extremely disappointing and embarrassing. But interesting, in that time, I get to know Benjamin, spend a bit of time with him each week. What a great man. And again, know story, get to know people. And to think that we've got boys here leaving rubbish and expecting Benjamin to come along and clean up after them. Absolutely not what we're about. Gents, please get onto that immediately. The second one is just when we're travelling on our bus. Boys, a number of parents have emailed the college about buses running a little bit later than normal. Okay, so naturally, traffic, we get all that. There's some roadworks, especially on the Samford Run. Those things we can't avoid. What we can avoid is you being well prepared with your ID card. Tapping on is way quicker than you searching your name. So bus drivers are reporting wasting 5-10 minutes with boys typing their names in instead of tapping their card. So again, please jump on that quickly. We'll have a quick win on that. Final thing on the bus is really clear. You are wearing your seatbelt and you are not moving. Right, your safety is paramount. The driver has got a job to do, concentrate, drive the bus, not behaviour manage. So again, we need to step up on that, please. And concluding, those little things, Mr. Thompson touched on it, Mrs. Chin touched on it, the little things matter, boys. Our habits and standards and attitudes are what going to make us really thrive through the rest of this term. Okay, if we just head forward to the week ahead, McGee and McKenna, you'll have your house mass on Thursday, so please meet in Chapel Mall. The Boarders will celebrate their formal dinner on Thursday evening, so that promises to be a wonderful event. If we move to Friday, if I could just have, sir, on the screen our SF lessons, please. So a couple of things there for you to note. 7, 10 and 11, you're in your normal classrooms. Year 8, you will be singing in the chapel. Year 9, you'll be in this building, the conference centre, for your NAP plan prep. And our 12s are in ATAR estimates, and our skills lads will be in the Connors building. So if we can please make sure we're where we need to be. Friday and Saturday we'll see our round 7 with Toowoomba Grammar, so that promises to be a wonderful event. We look forward to that. And I just make mention, if you are not involved in volleyball or cricket, that you make a genuine effort to get out to the dam and support our rowers. So we've heard lots about their endeavours. It's a wonderful morning out there. If you haven't been, this would be the year to get out there. Mr. Tuvey will send an email with the sign-up form. All right, so you can book a seat on the bus. So we look forward to a great crowd out at the dam on Saturday morning. We just go forward 1 week, gents. Next Tuesday is our inter-house cross-country. Okay, and if you can see on the screen behind me, the setup's almost identical for our inter-house swimming. Okay, our year 5, 6 and 11 men, you'll be in the first session, periods 1 and 2. Our years 8, 9 and 10 will be in the middle, periods 3 and 4. And then our year 7 and seniors will be in the last session in period 5. A special note that our championship event will run through lunchtime, and that is open to all boys in year 11 and 12. Please sign up through your house dean. And the final point for Tuesday next week is you will obviously wear your PE uniform to and from school on that day. Okay, could I please now invite our college senior, George Curry, to give us 3 cheers. Well done, thank you, George. Gents, as is our custom, we'll finish with our college song. I'm not sure we're happy with the volume. So a couple of weeks ago, we had our year 12 men in the chapel singing our college song and almost took the roof off. Gents, I'm looking for you to lead some volume and leadership this morning as Mr. Smith leads us in our college song. So please all stand and sing in full voice. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Parents, thank you very much for joining us. I'd ask you to leave first, please. Gents, our junior school lads, if you can wait till the end. Teeny boys, if you could leave through that back corner, please. Thank you. McKenna House, you may leave through the front corner.